All right, so it's going to be recorded and we can make the best of it. Now, as I was saying, when you start a past paper, the first thing you do in the exam is you look through the past paper itself. Don't just start writing question 1, 2, 3 in that order. What you can do is look through the paper, see the questions that look easiest to you and start those first. You don't have to start at number 1. But for the purpose of this one here, let's do a quick scan through. You know, question 1 is always the simple calculation questions. These you can do with your calculator. This one is some kind of consumer arithmetic problem. It continues on. Then you have your algebra, your standard algebra, factorization, solving, change of subject, a construction problem, and some geometry transformation. So I'm just doing a quick run through. We have some functions, inequalities, pie chart, some more statistics, and some measurement. All right, so these are some general questions that you get. Let's start with question number 1. Everyone, you should be able to see the screen. For those of you who have the paper already, just tell me or type your answer in the chat for me. Remember, if you have a scientific calculator, you should just be able to put this in one go and get your answer. Okay, so 73.18 minus 5.23 times 9.34. What answers do you all have for that first one? Type the answers in the chat for me. Let me know if you have it. Okay, so Omara says 24.31. That is correct. So the full answer in my calculator is 24.3318. But you have to be careful. It says to 2 decimal places. So you know the correct answer that you must state is 24.33. All right, good. Question number 2. Again, if you have the right calculator, you should be able to get through with that question. All right, just allow me a few moments while I get some more people in this call if possible. You might see some strange faces. These might be people from my adult class or so that may pop in, but no worries. It is just a few people that want extra help as well too. Okay, so all right, so second answer, what you all have for that, 3.1 squared over 6.17 plus 1.12. What answer do you all have for number 2? Type it in the chat. Also, Eden. Now, Jayla, you and Rodario probably didn't get this paper in advance, so I know you might be working along with everyone. Elmara and Keandra have some of the answers already, okay? But see if you can work as fast as you can with these questions, okay? So Eden was your answer for number 2, A part 2. Remember to put your brackets around the term before you square it. All right, good. So for me, I get 2.67753 6, etc., etc., etc. But the two decimal places, I'm only going to write for the exam 2.68. You have to round up this 7 here. This last 7 here after the 6, you have to round it up to an 8. All right. So next question. All right, so this seems to be some kind of consumer arithmetic question. Good afternoon, Dante. Good to see you. This session is being recorded, just letting you know. It may be posted online, but feel free to answer and talk freely as you care to, okay? But we're going through 2018 paper 2. All right, so this question here, question 1, part B. Jenny works, good afternoon. Jenny works at Sammy's restaurant and is paid according to rates in the following table. Okay, weekly wage agreement, basic wage plus 90 cents for each customer served. That's like a little commission. In a week, Jenny serves N customers. Her weekly wage, W in dollars, is given by this formula. So we have a formula to represent her weekly wage, and let's see if we can work it out here going forward. So you take the formula that is given. Take the formula that is given. So it is 6. All right, some others want to join. All right, hi Vivian. All right, so WJ is 600 plus, as it says, 0.9.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon, good afternoon. Vivian, and let's see who else is here.
Yes, please.
Tyrone, I can probably put this paper 2 in the WhatsApp group chat so you all can follow along as well. So just bear with me while I do that here quickly, but I'll put it in the group chat for you. All right. So at least anyone who misses the session could still benefit somewhat. All right, all right. So anyway, let's continue the question. So 0.9, and all you have to do is replace. And for this first question, all you have to do is replace the value. It says 230 customers. So let's see what's going on here. Just replace that N with 230. So therefore, she should earn 600 plus 0.9 times the 230. And that should give a total for that particular week of, y'all tell me, I get 800 and something. We all get. Let's double this. All right, let's double check the chat. All right, 807 is correct. So $807 is correct for her weekly wage in this particular case. Okay, so that is correct. Thank you, Eden. All right. Next one, next question. Now remember, you have to remember this formula here and the information in this table. So as I change the screen, if you can look back at your PDF file with the original question, keep it at hand. Now, part two, now it says that in a good week, Jenny's wage is $1,000 or more. What is the least number of customers that Jenny must serve in order to have a good week? Okay, so in this case, her wage is 1,000. So remember the original formula. Her wage is 1,000. Now you want to work backwards to find the customers. So just to go back to the formula, this is the original formula that the question gave us. She now earns for question two. They tell us her weekly wage is 1,000 or more. You want to work out how many customers she needs to meet that target. Okay, a good week for Jenny is if she makes that amount. So let's try this one here. See if you can get it solved. I'll write back the formula on this slide here. So remember, it is WJ is 600 plus 0.90N, N being the number of customers. All right. So again, the question told us what WJ is, and we have to work backwards. So Rodario, your answer is 444.4. But the problem with Dario is you can't have a 0.4 of a customer. So how are we going to solve this? Okay, you want her to have the best possible week, so she needs to make sure she gets $1,000 or more. So what would you do, Rodario, in this particular case? What's the minimum amount of customers that she should have to give her an excellent week? Right. So Vivian, you're on the right track. For this question, it will be 445. Of course, I would go up in this case because I want Jenny to have an excellent week. So I'll say the minimum value, the minimum amount of customers that she should have is 445. All right. So very good, Vivian. All right. So moving on. Let me see, Jayla. Okay, cool. All right. Let me just go through it quickly. 1,000 is equal to the 600 plus the 0.9 N. I'm going to carry over or subtract the 600 on both sides. And I'm going to then divide by that 0.9. So I'm going to say 1,000 subtract the 600 and divided by the 0.9 is going to leave me back exactly with N. And the answer that Rodario got was 444.4 customers. And of course, we have to round that. We have to put this here to a nice whole number so that she can get over $1,000. So 445 customers would be the ideal answer. All right, so next one. All right, so at the same restaurant, Shauna is paid a weekly wage of $270 plus $1.50 for each customer she serves. Okay, so we have a new person and she is paid $270 plus $1.50. Now, she is getting paid this different rate, I don't know, but it's not our problem. Our goal is to write a formula in terms of M and WS for her weekly wage. So how are we going to do this? Anyone can suggest a formula for her? All right, where Dario says 270. Okay, cool. WS for Shauna. 270 plus 1.50, and it says M customers, so you put M. All right, that was straightforward, nice, easy, 1 mark for that question. Anyone needs me to go? Jelly, you understand that? You understand? Dante, you understand? Just give me a thumbs up if you do. If you don't, I'll go over it, okay? All right, cool. All right, so now I'll go over it quickly. So again, Dante, this is some weekly wage that this person is going to get for each customer she serves. So her pay is dependent upon the customer she serves. For each customer, she gets paid 150. So customers represented by M, and therefore, if I have 10 customers, she get paid $15. That's $1.50 by 10. And there is a fixed also wage that she gets. This 270 is fixed. So 270 plus this part here on the right, which is how much customers she serves, will tell me how much she gets in that week. So she gets 270 normally, and then now $1.50 per customer additional as her like commission. So this is a formula to represent how much she gets. Now, using the information for Jenny and Shauna. So you have to be able to go back and see the formula. But Jenny and Shauna, they have the same wage for serving the same number of customers. How many customers did each serve? So in some particular week, they got the same pay. Even though the formulas are different, in some week, they managed to get the same pay somehow. And it depends upon the number of customers that they serve. Okay? So we have to figure out what is this unique number of customers that allows both of them to have the same pay at the same time. Okay? Anyone? Well, I'll give you a few minutes to work it out. I'll write both formulas on the board once more. Remember, Jenny. So remember, Jenny was 600 plus the 0.90n, and Shauna was 270 plus 1.5 or 150 m. All right, so let's see who can figure out this question, what they are asking us in this particular question. Hopefully, it may make sense to some of you. They're saying that they made the same wage for serving the same number of customers. So some number is going to get both of them the same wage this week. Any suggestions on how you might solve this? I would love to hear maybe Omara, Keandra. Well, this one is for 3 marks, so you know it will call for a little logical thinking. I'll highlight some keywords. They serve the same number of customers and they got the same wage. So those are two important points to contend. All right, so let's see if anyone can figure out what to do with this question. Where we have Rodario with an answer. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you care to, you can share this. You can share this meet link with any of your friends who are doing nothing right now and probably want a little help with their exams. Feel free to share with any of your friends from any other classes. I don't mind who joins today. All right, so it's open to anyone. All right, Dario, your answer is correct, but you got to explain for us what you did. You know, some people may not understand how you would have got this answer out. How would you help us to explain? Oh, could you care to explain for us, Dario, how you got your answer?
I typed it in the chat, sir.
Okay, no problem. All right. I'm looking at Rodario's answer here. All right, cool. Da-da-da-da-da. Now there are two ways that you could look at this. You know, you could look at this as like a simultaneous equation problem. That's one way to look at it. Um, but really and truly, if it said that people get the same wage, then that means that WJ is equal to WS. And if they said that they serve the same number of customers, it also means that N is equal to M in this case. Okay, so Rodario's working is actually quite correct. What I will do is I will equate both equations together. So I will put this equation here. I'll put that equation there, and I will put this equation here next to it. And the two are actually equal, or you could do it the simultaneous route if you care to do it that way. But the two of these are actually equal, and M and N are the same thing, so I don't have to have two different variables. I could decide if I want to just call them N, because N represents customers too. So I am equating both of them together. So that is N. And now what I can do is I can just rearrange this. I can subtract 270 from both sides, like what Rodario did. So I can say 600 minus the 270. All right, in other words, I carry this over. And likewise, I carry this over. So just remember that when you carry over, or when you are trying to rearrange, you must do the opposite. In this case, you have to subtract both of them. So 600 minus 270 is going to equal to 1.50 N minus 0.90 N. Okay, so now 600 minus 270 is 330, and this becomes 0.6 N. And to solve for N now, I just divide both sides by 0.6. So 330 over or divided by 0.6 is equal to N. And that answer I got was 550 customers. All right. Kudos to Rodario for getting the question out. Anyone else had the answer from before? Maybe Kiandra or Omara. Did any of you have that answer from before, or did it a different way? If you didn't have it, feel free to write it down, okay? And then let me know when you can move on. All right. Anyone else is still looking at it or trying to analyze it? Just raise your hands if you are. If not, I'll move on smartly, okay? All right, so moving on. All right, so these questions here, I'm hoping no one got tripped up on these questions. The first one is a perfect square. So you know that those have a standard answer. And number two is what we call factorization by grouping. You draw a line down the middle, you group the left-hand side separate from the right-hand side, and that is how we go about solving these particular questions. Okay, so let's go with the first one. So just to jog your memory, what is a perfect square? Perfect square would be problems that have square roots of both of the terms and they have a minus sign in between them. For example, if I said x squared minus 25, the answer is automatically x plus 5, x minus 5. Now, I could show you the long way of solving it, but it doesn't make sense showing you the long way at this point in time. You just have to understand that they're perfect squares. So once you can find a square root for both the terms, then your answer will always look something like this, one being positive, the next one being negative, okay? Now let's apply that same logic to our question here. What is the square root of 1 and what is the square root of 4h squared? What is the square root of 1? And what is the square root of 4h squared? I want those two answers quickly. And right, the square root of 1 is 1. So that is our first number that's going in the first bracket. So this will have a plus in here and a minus in here. And the square root of 4h squared, the 4 will go down to a 2, and the h will go down, the h squared will go to 8. So correct, Joseph, very good, 2h. All right, so that is the first answer. Don't bother to hurt your head with any long working. There is a long way of solving it, but it doesn't make sense right now. Just understand that it is a perfect square. Both terms have a nice square root, and you can break it down like this, okay? Now for this second one, remember, draw the line down the middle, all right? And factorize the left side and then the right hand side, okay? So once you do that, you should get through with a question like this. So this is actually not that hard. Let me just enlarge it a little bit. All right. So when you're finished, tell me your answers for this. I'll pause a little bit, give person some time to work it out. I know Omara and Keandra should have it. But let us try. Let's give people some time to work it out. Okay, so Rodario, you are almost, well, I am not certain if you are correct because the bracket was in the bracket supposed to be the same. So something is off there. Maybe you have to change one of your factors so that both terms in the bracket are the same. Okay, so you're a little bit off there, Rodario. So let me just go through it here quickly. So again, on this left side, the common term is Q. So I'm going to put Q on the outside. And inside the bracket is going to be P minus Q. So that is my first term. Now, I want to force another P minus Q over here on the right. But if I use the factor of 3, I am not going to get what I want. I'm going to get minus P. Sorry, I'm going to get minus P plus Q. I don't want that. So I'm going to have to change it from being 3 and make it something else. I'm going to have to make it negative 3 so that when I do my factors, I get the P minus Q as like before, because if I divide each of these by negative 3, I get P and I get minus Q. So now, Rodario, now that both brackets are the same, I have P minus Q in one bracket and Q minus 3, the factors in the next bracket. Okay, so that is how you would work out that question. Any questions there? Are we all on the same page? Are we all good? Give me a thumbs up, a heart, a like, something to let me know that I can move on. Vivian, I hope I'm not going too fast for you. Tyrone, same thing for you. Give me some verbal feedback. All right, cool. All right, Dante. All right, so all right, these two, one is both are solving. The first one is a standard equation. The second one is a quadratic. So the quadratic will have two answers for sure. And the first one should have just one simple answer. All right, so let's start with this first one. It is y, and it is 3 over 2 in front of it equals to 12. I'm going to rewrite it here for you to make it more understandable for you. Some of you may not like how it's written. I'm going to put it as 3y on 2. Simple little cosmetic change may help you understand it better. My goal is to make y the subject. So in order to get y the subject, I have to get rid of the 3 and the 2, starting with the 2 first. So again, change of subject dictates I get rid of this division first. So I will multiply both sides of the equation by 2. All right, I'll stop here. Hopefully you all catch the drift, and I'm hoping that you can solve it. Okay, so I'll let persons continue from where I have started for you. Let me know when you're finished and put your answer in the chat for me. We got Omara with the banging answers coming through real fast. Very good. All right, Keandra, you got that one as well?
Yes, sir. I got that right already.
Nice, nice, nice. All right, so I'll wait for others. All right, good. So Eden. All right, cool. So when I finish my calculations, I get 3y equals 3y equals to 24. And therefore, if I just divide by 3 now, I get the answer of 8. 24 divided by 3 equals to 8. Straightforward, easy stuff. The problem now comes with this quadratic one. Who remembers how to do the quadratic factorization? Raise your hands if you think you remember. I know there's some of you who I taught how to do it in your calculators one time, but let's not cheat today. Let's do it the correct way, okay? Let's do it the long way. So, all right, good. So again, you always look at the first and last term, okay? So you take 2 and multiply it with -3. That will give me -6 on the side here. I look for all the factors of -6. Remember, a positive and a negative must give me a negative number. So I know one factor could be 1. The next factor could be -6. I'll do the reverse, -1 and +6. Then 2 and -3, -2 and 3, etc., etc. And now I must find a pair that will add up to 5. I want 5 in the middle here. So what pair would I use? Anyone could tell me which pair would add up to 5 in the middle? Which combination of factors? It must add up to positive. It must combine to give +5. So which two factors would that be, people? Tell me. All right, -1 and 6, correct. So I will just rewrite the problem. I will say 2x squared. I'll break this up into the two things that we just mentioned. So I'll break it up into the 6 and the 1. I can put the 6 first if I care to. So I can say plus 6x. And I can say minus 1x. It doesn't matter which one you put first. Just make sure that you have this correct combination in the middle. -3 equals to 0. So now, again, we do like the one before this, the one in the last slide, where we factorize the left and the right hand side. On the left, you have 2x, and the factors would be x plus 3. And on this side here, the factors that I would use is actually -1. So I would use -1. Okay, so this factor here will be x plus 3. Tyrone, you asking a question? What's the question you're asking? If I can give another example of this, is that what you're asking? Or you mean like the first one up here? Or I'll think of one. I'll think of one to do in a minute. But there are other questions that will come like this. There are other questions like this on the paper. So don't worry about it too much. There are others like this. But I'll think of one in the meantime while persons figure out this answer here. So someone tell me the proper factors and someone tell me the answers for X. So put your answers in the chat for me. Rodario, you should be able to get this out. Eden as well too. Rodario, if Naima or Josiah or any of those are available, you can let them jump in if they are, if you have their contact information. All right, but it's in the whoever sees it can come, and that's how I'm going to roll today. The live didn't work out, but I have to do it this way instead. All right, Tyrone, since you asked for another question, try this one here instead. I'm going to make it as similar to the one above here. So the question is 5 on 4, 5 on 4x is equal to 15. Try to solve that and tell me what you get, Joseph. All right. Do that one on your own, Joseph. All right. So Omara, she has a half of x and -3 for the other x. So let's see. So first, let's continue the answer. So now that I have both brackets the same, I can write down my factors. Okay. So my first answer is x plus 3 in brackets, and the second one is 2x minus 1 equals to 0. So now either this one on the left is equal to 0 or this one on the right is equal to 0. I'll work it out as in both cases. So I will say that x plus 3 equals to 0. Therefore, x would have to be, the only way that's possible if x is equal to -3. So this is either, and the other one is or. So either or. And now the other situation is if the 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. And if I carry over the 1, that will be 2x equals to 1. And therefore, x would have to be 1 divided by 2, which is a half. 0.5 or a half. Okay, Joseph, correct. 12 is correct. So good. Good job. All right, good job. That is the correct answer for this extra question up here. Good. All right, cool. Now, moving on once more. Now we have a change of subject problem, something that probably no student likes. Change of subject. So this actually is extra practice again, Joseph, for the one we just did. These topics here is all algebra. The first one is substitution. You got to put the values in the formula. The second one is change of subject. Okay, so for part 1, you are just transposing this 3 in place here for the m. The u will go in the place of where the u is here in the formula, etc., etc. So let's work this out and see what it comes out to. I think somebody has skipped this one on the Thursday. Was that you, Amara, that skipped this one?
No, sir.
Somebody skipped it, and it was like, this is a real easy. At least this part 1. I gotta be Keandre, you know.
Sir, I got that right.
You sure?
Yes.
Some boy lane.
It had to be the other girl. What's her name? Was Maya?
You know, I remember distinctly it was you two that was it was Keandre laughing at you or you laughing at Keandre, something so. But this one here was easy. So let's work this out. Just plug in the values, put the answer in the chat for me, people. It's a simple substitution problem. Rodario has 9 with a question mark. Tyrone has 5. I'm waiting for Eden or Jella to give me a definite answer for this question here. All right, so I see Dario's answer, and Eden says she got 9. Jayla. All right, so 9. All right, let's have a little look here. So just simple substitution. If you're doing physics, just half of what physics is. Simple substitution. So M is 3, bracket. V is 2, subtraction. And please put a bracket here because U is -1. So put a bracket there. Close the bracket and put down 1 for T. So I'm hoping that is what you all have. And the answer is a solid 9. All right. So that is the answer there. All right. Now, rearranging the formula. I wonder if anyone got that one or anyone has an answer for the rearranged formula. Of course, all I can hear is my fan, so that means I ain't too sure if you all get through that part or not. So tell me though, give me some feedback. Should I go through part 2? Or give you some more time? I'll give you some more time, okay?
Sir, all I know is that you gotta add U and then divide it by M and then multiply it by T, but I don't know how to work it out. I mean, how to write it out.
So all you know is you called enough things that you know, but yet you still didn't know what you're doing. I so lost.
But sir, I don't know how to write it out.
All right, I hear you. All right, no problem. I'll start. I'll help you. All right. So Rodario has some answer, but Rodario, your answer gonna go in the F somewhere though, because the F was part of the equation. So that dead wrong. I'm sorry, buddy. That wrong. Try again, Rodario. I must say, Amara, you are close. You're the closest to the answer. But what happened to the F people? F was part of the equation. People just forgetting the F that was there before. You can't just
What
forget
should
the
I
F.
always see that F?
Jeez, like second time I hear you say so, So I don't even see that, yeah. All right, just let me know when you're ready and I'll go through it. Vivian, you are like even closer than Omara. You just have to carry over that you there. Yep. So I think both you and Omara have it. Good job, Vivian. Good job, Omara. So let's start with this. We gotta go through some more of these. Gotta rearrange subjects. So start with the original equation, m times v minus u. And I'm gonna remember when you are solving or rearranging, you do the opposite of bottomless. If bottomless dictates that you do division or so early, you would do the opposite of that, which is this multiplication. Okay, so you want to get rid of the t. Okay, so you want to get rid of the t first, then the m, and then this u. All right, so let's do the opposite of that division there. So we're going to multiply both sides by t. That's step number 1. I'm also going to multiply this side here by t. All right, so my next line is going to be f times t is equal to m bracket v minus u. Now I'm going to divide both sides by m. So divide this by m, divide this by m. The m's cancel here, leaving me with just f t over m equals to, I can remove these brackets now because they're not necessary, v minus u. This is where I think Vivian has stopped, but Omara finished it. To get v, the subject, you have to carry over, or I should say add u to both sides, add u to both sides, or if you let the term carry over the u, but you all know that I say add to both sides. So my final answer, when all said and done, is going to be f times t divided by m plus u, and that is going to give me the answer for v. All right, so let me see how many marks that was. Question like that. Two marks. All right, cool. All right, so this is rearranging in a nutshell. I did more working than possibly you needed to, but good job, Omara and Vivian, for that. All right, so moving on. Now, this one, everybody that I showed it to butchered it, even though it was the easiest construction that ever existed in the history of math exams. People butchered this one right here, right? Omara and Keandra, you butchered this one on Thursday. You'd say, I believe this construction is the easiest one. Now, show of hands if you want me to show you how to do it from scratch. Show of hands if you want me to do this from scratch. But this is the correct answer here, showing all the construction lines. Anyone that did? All right, Joseph. All right. All right, cool. All right, so to do this, I am going to use this website here. Some of you may be familiar with it if I taught you online before, but it is mathpad.co.uk. It has a good set of tools when it comes to constructing angles. All right, so the first thing you have to do, using a pencil and a pair of compasses, construct the triangle ABC such that AB is 8 centimeters, BAC is 30 degrees and AC is 10 centimeters. So you have some specifics to work out. You know, always come near the middle of the page. Don't go too far the edge or too high up. Come down somewhere in the nice middle. If it says draw 8 centimeters, then don't draw anything other than 8. So start at 0, come across to 8. All right. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna bring this around even more so it's in the dead center. All right, so that is it. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my compass. I am going to put it at the edge here. I should have labeled it A and B, but I guess you all would know that this is A. So let me do the right thing and label it. This is A. This is B. You should put a little dot at the edge, at the lines, so that you know exactly that those are the endpoints. But anyway, let's go. So this is, I'm going to open this to some length. It doesn't really matter per se. Make sure you have it locked in place. All right. Make sure you have it locked in place. And now I'm going to hold the top part and I'm going to scribe an arc. Okay, so I'm going to scribe an arc. So I should have said bring your geometry sets. All right, so I've scribed an arc, and now I'm going to lift up the compass, put it here, and scribe another arc. Now, if you were in class, you would know that this is exactly 60 degrees. If I were to draw a line from this point there through that point, that is exactly 60 degrees. However, we do not want 60 degrees. We want 30 degrees. So what we will do is we will bisect this angle here. We will bisect this 30-degree, this 60-degree angle. So what I will do, I will bring my compass here at the point where they meet up, and I will just scribe a little arc here in the distance. I will lift it up and I will put it here again. Turn it around. Scribe an arc there. And I have successfully cut that 60-degree angle into 30 degrees. So now I will take my ruler. It's very tricky to do it on this website, but I'll take my ruler and I will try to get it through this exact point in the middle here. So now take my line. And I draw up to 10. All right. Now, in the exam, you can always cheat a little bit and put your protractor down to make sure that it is correct. So it is 30. So you can see it's 30 right there. But no one has to know that. And now you just connect these to form the triangle. Just connect the lines there. Okay, so that is how you do that question. Okay, hoping that my explanation helps you somewhat. All right, thank you, Joseph. Ladies, was that simple? Dante, was that simple enough? You just need your geometry set to answer that. Okay, so it's not hard. All right. Now, one topic that I know that I didn't get to go through with many people, that was transformations. That would be translation, reflection, and rotation. I did give a handout to some persons who were in class, and I will post the handout again in the Google Classrooms, but this is one topic that some people did not know well from third form, so I will have to go over. Anyway, let me go on to the next question. All right, so the next question, as I said, is transformations. All right, so Anyone answered? Anyone was able to answer this, or we haven't gotten there yet? They gave you a graph paper on the actual exam. Of course, if you are looking at it on the computer, you wouldn't have the printout in front of you. Sorry, Jayla. You had passed by the staff room on the Friday, but y'all, I know how long y'all spent because by the time I came out the bathroom, y'all are done gone. How long y'all were there, Jayla? Mr. Small told me that y'all were there waiting for me, but I didn't see y'all at all. I had the paper ready for you. Anyway, don't worry about it. I will give it to you on tomorrow if you pass by again tomorrow, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the first question, it says, state the coordinates of the point Q. Easiest mark you could ever get in an exam. What is the answer for that first one? Someone tell me quickly. All right, Q 4, 1. Easy stuff. Don't throw away easy marks. Even if the question look hard, that is an easy mark right there. Okay, 4, Q. Now, the line PQ is mapped to P prime Q prime by an enlargement at center 0 with a scale factor of 4. On the diagram above, draw the line PQ. Now, the good thing, whenever you have to do an enlargement and the enlargement is happening at the 0 point, in other words, my enlargement is at center 0, it makes life easy for us because when the enlargement is at center 0, all you have to do is just multiply the distances by whatever scale factor they say. So if the scale factor is 3 and from O to P to 2 squares, then therefore if I multiply that by 3, then it should take up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. Okay, so I just multiply the distances. Let me just get my ruler. And I will go up here to, all right, so that is the enlarged line. That is the enlarged line for OP. Let me do the same thing for OQ. All right, my diagram's a little off. But obviously, when you guys have it on the actual graph paper, it should be as accurate as possible. It's just that mine might be a little off. All right, so let's see. Okay, cool. All right, good. And hence the answer that they are looking for OPQ, P prime, Q prime, would be this line here. This is what they are looking for. This line right here is the line P prime, Q prime. Okay, so that is it. Let me put P prime and Q prime. All right, so that is the answer for that. Okay, so that is an enlargement. Does it look larger to you all? It looks larger to me, by a factor of 3. So the lines are stretched out 3 times as long, and that is good. We get that happening whenever the center of enlargement is 0, 0. Pretty straightforward. All right, now a reflection in the line y equals to 0. Now, the line y equals to 0 is the x-axis. This line here is the line y equals to 0. So I want to reflect the original shape down here. Like if I'm folding a book downward or folding a piece of paper in half. So to reflect this, I simply count the squares necessary. So let's see. So it was from this line is 1, 2 up. So I count 1, 2 coming down, and this will be this point here. This point was 1 up from the line, so it must be 1 down from the line. That is the other point there. And now you just join them up with your ruler, and that is it. So starting at O, this is my reflection across the line y equals to 0. So there to there. Here to here. And now to here. So does that look like a reflection to y'all? It's just like if you folded the original shape over in half, down. Okay, so that is a reflection. Do you all understand? Yes or no? Give me a little thumbs up if you do. If you don't, we will have to go through some more next week. All right, one's an enlargement, one is a reflection. All right, so continuing on. Here we have some more. Well, this is a function problem. So functions, for those that did 4th form and 5th form with me, these should be the easiest questions in the world because these are just simple function questions. All right, so let's continue. All right, so let's see. I'll give you some time to answer. If you have the answers already, you can put them in the chat for 4A1, 4A2. I'll be right back. All right, I think I can get Naya to join. All right, so let's look at this question here quickly. All right, so the first one, a function is just like a substitution problem in algebra. You just have to plug in the value and work it out. So if I want f of 1, it means that I put 1 into the function, 1 over 2, bracket 1, minus 3. So that is basically a half take away 3, and the answer ends up being like -5 on 2. Or if you want it as a decimal, fraction is better, but as a decimal, it is 2.5. Okay, so there is that. All right, now part 2. Everybody get part 1. Oh, part 1 easy. Oh, part 2. I see Eden try to answer there with part 2, but that answer wrong, Eden. That ain't right. Sorry. You got. I'll start you off. This is saying the function is equal to -2. It did not say to plug in -2. That is different to how question 1 is worded. So it is saying the function is equal to -2. In other words, the half x minus 3 is equal to -2. That's what that question is saying. Okay, then say plug in into -2. That's where people are gonna get it wrong. Now again, if you see the question like this, do a little cosmetic change to the question. I can just put this x on top and make it much more easier to understand. So instead of saying half x, you can just say x over 2. If that makes your life easier, I don't know if it does or doesn't, but that little cosmetic change should help you understand what to do, Joseph. This is just like the one we had just now, or a little bit different, but very similar to the one we had just now. All right, so solve it and then give me the correct answer. All right, come give me the answer if anyone has it. Just work backwards, make X the subject, okay? All right, Eden, give an answer. I want others to. Let's see what you get. Come. Joseph, try to rearrange this. Deal with the 3 first, then the 2. So people try the question. Omara, Jella. Let's see if y'all can get this out. Keandra. If you got it out beforehand, just tell me the answer. It isn't 2, Eden, though, so the answer is not 2. Your The answer is not 2, unfortunately. Rodario, people too quiet for this question, man. I don't think it's 2. I don't think it should be. Let's see. Let me see. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be so hard if you don't think it should be. Oh, I may have made a mistake. So let me see if mine is correct. All right. So let me just double check and see. Carry the 3 over. It becomes positive 3. So my apologies, Eden. I have the wrong answer, Eden. I have the wrong answer, not you. All right. So Eden, you are correct. My apologies to you. So let's go. You add the 3 to both sides. That is the first step. All right. And then you end up with x over 2 equals to 1. And then you multiply both sides by 2. So that's all it is. So Eden, I made a mistake because I had positive 2 in the beginning. So my answer ended up being like all the way up in 10. But I forgot it was negative 2 here. So yeah, so yours is correct. Mine is incorrect. So very good, Eden. So therefore x would have to be 1 times the 2, which is equal to 2. So this is the answer here. All right. All right, Jayla, Amara, welcome to Blind. Tell me the answer for that one. We're going on across there, man. What happened? Let me make my correction here on my paper. All right, so moving on. All right, so moving on. Look at this question here. It says an ordered pair for the function is expressed in the form AB. Using your answers for A part 1 and A part 2, list the ordered pairs for the function. So we have, remember, ordered pairs are essentially the coordinates for a function. So let's see what answers you all have for this. Remember, the function only has a specific domain. So if you look back at the function, it only can take in 1, 2, and 3. So those are the only numbers that can go into the function. So what would be the ordered pairs come for this function? Okay, what would be the ordered pairs for this function? So if you look back at your previous answer, the input was 1 and you got out negative 2.5. For the second one, you realize the output was negative 2, the input was 2. So the coordinate would be 2 comma negative 2. So 2 comma negative 2 is one answer. Always the input first and then the output last. And over here now, it would be 1 comma negative 2.5. Always the input first. So the input is 1. So always the input first and the output last. But we're missing one ordered pair. We're missing the one that would have 3 in it, 3 as the input. So to answer this question over here, it says use your answers. So basically I will just put back in the answers again. 1 comma negative 2.5 is the first coordinate. The second coordinate is 2 comma negative 2. But there's one more that can possibly go into this function. We didn't work it out in the previous two questions, but what would be the last number that can go into this, the last output that will come out this function? Because remember, the question said it can only have an input of these 3 numbers. So let's do 1 for 3 now and see what it would be. The answer is negative 1.5, Joseph. Correct. Negative 1.5. Correct. So these are the 3 ordered pairs. Of course, the question only wanted 2. So, but those are the 3 ordered pairs. Now, question 4. Explain why the function...
Sir, how you get negative 1.5?
What was the function again? Omara, let's see. It's half times x minus 3. So let me go back. Half x minus 3. So let me write it here. F of x equals a half x minus 3. And if I choose to put in the number 3, remember 3 is one of the possible inputs for this function. So I will put in a 3 here. So that means a half times 3 minus 3 was a half of 3. And that's 3 divided by 2. Take away 3. And I get negative 1.5. So that's where you got the negative 1.5 from Omar. Okay. I just used my third. So I did question before gave me 1 and 2. And this would have been the third one here if I was asked to use it. Okay. You understand, Omar? No? Okay, good. All right. So remember the question it did say the question can only the domain means the input values are 1, 2, and 3. You have to read that part carefully. Don't just run through the question. It says this function only is for numbers 1, 2, and 3. Like input values 1, 2, and 3. All right. Now explain why the function f of x cannot be equal to 5 for the function specified on page 13. Why can it not be equal to 5? this one's worth 1 mark. Why can it not be equal to 5? I mean, there are two ways you can answer this question. You can calculate the answer. You can calculate what x would be if 5 is the output, just like how we did for this one here. If 5 is the output, you can work out what value of x that would be if you care to. But there's also an easier way that you can tell the people that you know what's going on. There's an easier way that you can state it. Okay, so I don't know. It depends on how you want to answer the question. Any suggestions? If you don't know what to do, raise your hand. Don't be shy. Let me know if you know what to do, or if you So Amara, not sure. Keandra, you trying it out. Jayla, you trying it out.
Sir, you don't know?
You don't know? All right, let's look back at this question here. When we had f of x equals to -2, we were able to work out what the input was. We were able to work out that x was 2 by working backwards. Do the same working. Instead of writing -2, put 5 instead. So f of x equals to 5. So replace this -2 here on the right with the number 5 and see if you can work out the x value. That's one way of answering the question. Do that for me. Tell me what you get. And don't let Eden be the first person to get it out this time, okay? So somebody else besides Eden. Let's see who can get this out. Work out the x value if the function is equal to 5. All right, Dante, no problem. Have a good afternoon/evening later on. The recording might come out like around tomorrow or so. So we'll see how that goes, okay? I will just put it in the Google Classroom as I normally do. I don't think I will go through all of the paper today. It's quite a bit to go through, but I will see how far we can get. And I'll put the recording in the class. If we have to do a part 2, I will organize it better and I will get more persons to come for the part 2 where possible. All right, but you have a good afternoon. All right, so come on, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's left, tell me what answer you have for X. Okay, so again, okay, so let's see. I'm gonna give you the easy way. Sorry, the hard. I'll give you the long way first, and then the easy way. Okay, so let's start with the long way. Okay, so this is the function half x minus 3, and it says it is equal to 5. All right, so I'm gonna do like before. I'm gonna add 3. I'm gonna add 3 to both sides. Then I'm gonna multiply by 2. So that will give me a half x equals to 8, and then I multiply by 2 and I get x equals to 16. Do you understand what I did here? Everyone understands what I did so far? Just raise your hand if you do. All I did is I found out what the input value would be given that 5 was the answer for the output. That's all I did. Raise your hands if you understand it. All right, raise your hands if you do. All right, Joseph said okay. All I did was, okay, cool. So now, is 16 is the input? Is this input allowed for the function? Is this input allowed? No. Remember, the inputs were only 1, 2, and 3. So if that input is allowed, then this output cannot exist for this function. Okay? This output cannot exist given the domain, given the input values, given the domain 1, 2, and 3. So this function, that answer cannot exist. Now, another way you could have solved this is you could have just looked at the three outputs that I had here, 1, 2, and 3. I said, well, look, there's no 5 in none of them. So we ain't got, we just said, no, it can't work because the only possible outputs are negative 2.5, 2, and 1.5. So that's the easy way would have just to look up and say, well, look, none of those answers match back to 5. Therefore, that output cannot exist. That would have been the easy way of doing it, okay? You understand now? Make sense now? All right. I hope so. All right, give me a second there, people. All right, laptop looking like if it's going to die in the next couple of minutes, so we're gonna have to move along fast. And whatever I get covered will be part of the overall recording, and I have to do a part 2 to do the harder questions to come. Okay, so I'm hoping I can get that done. Okay, but I can't plug it in right now because I have too many things plugged in right now. I have no space to charge it. So let's see how far we can go before I am shut off. We have some inequalities here on this page. So inequalities are solved very similarly to how equations are solved. The only difference is that you have now an inequality sign. Okay, so look at these problems. I think this whole page was straightforward. Each of them was worth 1 mark, or maybe one was worth 2 marks, but they're all easy to solve. Again, inequalities are just like equations. Solve them the same way, and you should get your answer. You only get trouble when you have double inequalities on the left and right, but these are simple single inequalities. Treat the sign in your head like if it's an equal sign, and only change it if you have to divide by a negative number. That's what you have to remember. Okay, that's all you gotta do for this question. So continue. We'll see how far we can go before I run out of power. Tyrone, you're on fire, man. But you gotta give me the right signs though. So you gotta use your keyboard and see if you can find the more than or less than sign for me to tell you if it's correct or not. But 4 and 1 are correct, but you need to have the correct sign with it. Okay, so I gotta see if you're on the right track in that regard as well. All right, so let's see. All right, poor computer is on the last leg. So let's see how it will go from here. So let's see. Let me just zoom in. All right. So first one, again, just do it normally. So that will be 3x minus 1 less than 11. Add 1 to both sides, so that would be 3x less than 12. X is less than 4. All right, first one. The second one now, you have 2. I'm going to have to subtract 2 from both sides. So I will say, if I subtract 2 from this, add 1 to both sides, add 1. So that would be 3 is less than or equal to 3x. And eventually have 1 is less than or equal to x. So all of you were correct. Pretty straightforward. Now, how would you represent this on a number line? All right, so in number line now, you have to take your ruler and draw it the correct way. So on a number line, if you have just the less than symbol, then you have to put an open circle. If you have the less than or equal to symbol, then you have to use a solid circle. So if it says x is less than 4, so I have to go here at 4 and draw an open circle. If it says that 1 is less than, if it says 1 is less than or equal to x, or x is greater than or equal to 1, then I will do the other way. So I will have to put a closed circle here, a closed dot here, and then combine them with a straight line. Okay, that is what the question is asking you to do. Okay, so you have to just draw that on the actual paper. Closed circle for the or equal to symbols, open circle for the normal, less than or more than symbols. Okay, raise your hand if you understand. All right, cool. By the way, in your exam, if you care to, you can always rewrite this. I can just change it around. I can say R, put the X on the left. If that makes more sense to you, X is greater than or equal to 1. And, it's still the same thing, okay? So, either or. All right, I'm going to have to stop at this statistics question. Pretty much, that's all I have left, all the time I have left. So, let's look here quickly. And then we are gone for the day. Let's look at this pie chart. Let's answer these 3 questions here, okay? I'm hoping that everyone can get this pie chart question solved. All right, so let's see. All right, so I have a pie chart. Let's see if I can find that correct answer here. Okay, good. Found it. So, with this question here, you have a pie chart. It represents students in the group and their favorite sport. Of course, we are missing X, so that is the easiest question in the world to solve. You just take 360 and you subtract. Well, you should add 94 and 45 together. 94 degrees plus 45. I have them in brackets. So 360 minus that addition, and the answer should be a nice, easy x equals 221. 221 degrees. All right, that was easy. Eh? Let's do the next part. What percentage of students chose cricket? What percentage of students chose cricket? Rodario with the answers one after the next. Good job, Rodario. Let's see if his are correct. I want others to verify his answers to see if he's correct or not. All right, so let's see. Shouldn't be too complicated. Percentage. So take 94 degrees out of 360 and multiply by 100 over 1, and the answer is 26.1%. Okay, now move on to the next one. Rodaria has an answer, but I want others to confirm it first. Given that 40 students chose tennis, calculate the total number of students in the group. All right, so there are different ways of solving this. There's an easy way, and then there's an easy way, and then there's a harder way, but up to you how you want to solve it, okay? Okay, so Rodario's logic is that 45 is like 1/8 of 360. So I'm assuming that if 45 degrees is just an eighth of 360, then I can multiply the number 40 by 8 to get the total. So that is his logic, and the math is mathing for Rodario right now. Very good, Rodario. So if 45 degrees represent 40 students, then 45 by 8, it is 360, should equal 40 by 8, which is 320 students. All right, so that was that. I hope that that was not a difficult question for many of you. All right, Jayla and company, hoping you got through with that. Now, moving on to the last question for this evening. Now, I'm sorry that I can only stop at this last question, but I will have to promise a second um, session with the same paper. But all the other questions after this, I would consider would be the challenging ones. It has in bearings, it has in a function, it has in let me see what else is left. It has in matrices with transformation, circle, theorem. So I want to do the second half of this paper. It has in the pattern, it has in volume and measurement. So I want to do the second half of this paper at a later time. I don't know if Wednesday you all be free again Wednesday to finish off this paper. Yes or no? Raise your hand if you will be. All right, we might get some more people to join in at that time. I want to have two classes going on, one for this paper to finish off, and then one for my CEP class, my adult class afterwards. So Wednesday is going to be a busy day for me. All right, but anyway, let us finish off one time. This last question now to finish off. This one here with the statistics, and then we will finish off here for today. So man, it was one of these questions that I think Omar or Keandra missed out, man. Real easy question. Sorry for calling you out, Keandra. But this one
Sir,
was
it's Omar who got it wrong.
this one was too easy.
Sir, it wasn't me. It
This
was
one was too
Omar.
easy. This one was too easy. Anybody get this one wrong? Nah, man, too easy, too easy. All right, just have a look at the question. I'll be back, and we'll go to the answers one by one. All right. Last thing I want to mention is that if you all can print out the papers and have them in front of your face and doing them is a lot better than doing them on the computer screen. I wouldn't say that if I didn't mean it. If you can get your parents to print out the papers for you, let them do that. At least you one that you know you can do. Don't make them print out all and then you only do two of them. You want you know you can do, let mom and dad, if they can, get it printed and do it in front of your face. So much better than having to look at a screen doing it. All right, and you get it right on the paper as well too. Now, any answers for the table, people? Can you let's move on. Let's go. Any answers, Jayla, for this one?
So give me a minute.
All right, no problem. Also, on Tuesday, tomorrow, come and get the physical paper from the office. If you don't see me, just wait. It's always been office.
Yes, sir.
And if you want to go through the last set of questions, question 6 and onward, we can do them in the conference room if you are free. That offer extends to Omara and company, whoever is there. The conference room is available. Just let me eat first, and then we can always go through those questions if you need assistance. I see your answers with Dario, but I'm still waiting for Jayla to answer as well too, and possibly give me part 2 and part 3.
Sir, the model number is not 7.
All right, so this helped me with the table, Jayla. So let's fill in the table. What numbers are missing here and here on the table?
3 and 2.
Say it again after. Say it one more time.
3 and 2.
3 and 2. Okay, cool.
Yes.
3 and 2. Okay, cool. So again, that was straightforward. 3 here and 2 here. All right, so that's good. One more. Now, what is the model score? What is the model number of goals scored by the team? I'm gonna let is Vivian still there? Actually, let me check see if Vivian's still there. Vivian, what is the model number of goals scored, Vivian? I hear Vivian. Joseph, what about you? What is the model number of goals scored? Joseph says 2. Anyone else has an answer different, or you all agree with his answer? The model number of goals scored. All right. Everyone else says 1. Okay, cool. So let's go back. So look, modal is the most frequent. So 7 is the most frequent. Therefore, the answer for mode is 1. Okay, so that is how you would figure that one out. So modal. All right. What is the median number of goals? The median number of goals. The median number of goals. In my opinion, you should try to figure out how many goals were scored in total first before you even attempt that. But what is the median number of goals? How many goals were scored in total? Let's establish that first. What was the total frequency of goals? So the first thing you should look to do is let's add the top row of this table here. This is F. So normally you realize they have this table backwards. Okay, this table does not look like how you have seen it at school. We just always put the X on top and the frequency on the bottom, or we always put the X values on the left and the frequency on the right. But they have this table backward. That's the first thing we have to establish. Normally it is the other way around, with the frequency down here and the scores up top. That's the first thing that we should establish. The second thing is you need to find the sum of the frequency. So what is the sum of this top row? The top row. What is that sum? Let's go, people. Tell me what the sum is for that top row. Is it 25 or is it 24? Let's double check. 5 plus 7 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. All right, it is 25. Okay, so that top row is 25. So when you have an odd number of things, that means you have an exact single number for the median. To find that number, you will say, look, 25 plus 1 is 26, and then divide it by 2. So I am looking for the 13th number, in my list. Look for the 13th number in my list. Okay, that will be the exact middle value. Okay, the 13th number in my list. All right, so this is the first 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. That means this will be the next 3 numbers. The next 3 numbers, that'll be the 13th, the 14th, the 15th number is a 2. Therefore, the 13th number is 2. So the median is 2. Okay, the 13th number is 2. No. All right, so now we have the sum of the frequencies. Now we have to work out the f of x. All right, and because this table is on the side, I'm going to work out my f of x's down here. So 5 times 0 is 0. 7 times 1 is 7. True. 3 times 2 is 6. And you all finish it for me, but give me the total of the f of x on this right side here. Give me the total f of x when you're finished on the right. All right. What is the total of the f of x? Do the multiplications coming down and tell me your total. All right, so Omara got 54. So let's see, 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. That's 10. And that's 6. So add up all the numbers and I get 54. Now, therefore, my average is, if you study it correctly, is always the f of x on top. Let me put the formula in case you forget. F of x over f. So that is the 54 divided by 25. And tell me now, pray tell me, what is the average score? The average score. The average score. Yes, the mean can give a decimal sometime. What is the average score? 2.16. 2.16. All right, so 2.16. Provided we did everything correct, this is the average score. All right. All right, so that is going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me if you enjoyed the session or not. I didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I wanted this whole grand live YouTube thing like how Courage Springer and the other guy does it, but it didn't work out for me today. So I just stuck with what I know, the Google Meet, and my regular screen share for today. And we had a fairly okay class. But tell me how you like the class. Was it okay for you all? No, of course. The speed at which we did it was a bit slow because I was explaining as I was going along. But in the exam, y'all was doing past these easy questions. It is now questions 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. that I want you all to go and work on for Wednesday. I'll do part 2 on Wednesday for us and whoever else wants to join. Those are the hard questions. Circle theorem, measurement, a weird function is in that question. Matrices with transformation. So you really got to go and try your best to answer those other questions. Do not look at any solutions online for 2018. Do the paper yourself. If you get stuck, you get stuck. Try to look up the topic in your textbook or online, but no solutions until you see me on Wednesday. You can do other papers, but leave 2018 alone, and we'll come back on Wednesday and go through anything you don't know. You'll clarify by then, okay? So that is it for this evening or this afternoon. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Omara, was your question?
Sir, Mr. really had taught us measurement, but like I wasn't at school because I was there last day, and he taught the area and the volume, and I don't know how to get that do.
I mean the area and the volume of a cone, a cylinder, or
Yes, sir.
all right. So I will put the formulas in the lessons classroom, and you can have a look at them. Okay.
Okay,
I'll
sir.
I can do that for you actually no, so you can always. I did a little makeup session on measurement with my fifth formers before I saw them off last week Friday. So I'll put whatever I did for them in the lessons classroom. All right, that's it for all for now, ladies. Have a good afternoon and the rest of your day.
Bye, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye, sir.